Okay, so just start by saying your name and...
Kris Kimel, founder, Idea Festival.
Idea Festival, okay, what a great name. It certainly drew me in. Now this is my first year at Idea Festival. I heard about it, and you're the founder. You've been doing this for how long now? 11 years?
We started, the first festival was in 2000, and we did them every other year until 2006, and then went annual. Started in Lexington, moved to Louisville in 2006, and went annual. So I think this is actually our 9th festival.
Okay, and what was the idea? Like behind...
The idea behind the idea.
The idea behind the idea, yeah.
Well, it really emerged from a real interest on my part and people I've interacted with and worked with in looking at kind of the question of deep innovation, deep creativity, a recognition that innovation and creative thinking is really paramount in today's world to be competitive, and the fact that transcends disciplines. It doesn't just mean about business or science. It's business, it's science, the arts, film, education, design. All of those areas in today's world, are driven. The value-added proposition in all of this is really innovation. And how does innovation really occur? How do we create situations where innovation can happen and is encouraged within people and organizations and companies? And it was that question that really spawned this idea of creating an opportunity for people to come together to really explore this question. And the other, I guess, driving force was a recognition that a lot of really meaningful innovation that works in a sense, was happening in areas and among people and organizations that knew how to deconstruct and reconstruct knowledge and ideas, that understood and could find the connections, the relevant connections between science, design, the arts, and pull those things together, reconstruct them, and apply them in novel ways. And that was really the initial spark of doing it. And I guess the real spark, the germ for the session itself actually came one night. I was sitting by myself in Park City, Utah, in a restaurant. I'd given a talk there. It was snowing outside. It was November. And of course, that's where they hold Sundance. And I picked up a brochure and I was looking through it about the Sundance Film Festival. And it kind of hit me as, I wonder if you could do a festival around ideas like Sundance. In other words, not a conference, but a really non-linear, active, high-energy event that brought together people to kind of explore this in a kind of festival-type atmosphere. And so that was really putting those two things together was really where the idea first emerged.
So Sundance was actually an inspiration,
yeah,
it sounds like.
Yeah, it was. I was familiar with Sundance, looking through the brochure what Sundance was happening 2 months later, and I just thought the idea of doing something similar that wasn't a conference, but brought people together in a really active way. The festival, the Idea Festival takes place in about a 2 or 3 square block area, so it's not about people going into a conference room and sitting there all day long. We have events, here at the Kentucky Center for the Arts, which we're headquartered. We also have events outdoors and at restaurants and bars and other places, and it really is kind of a festive place to move people. We did an event this year, a great reception in Churchill Downs, the home of the Kentucky Derby, and that was, so Sundance was clearly an inspiration.
So I noticed a lot of the content that's here. I mean, obviously it's not around film, which was your original inspiration. You have a background in politics and science and interest in that area. And I noticed a lot of the content kind of merges all of those. So we've got science, there was stuff on medicine here and the future of medicine and where that's going. Also, education. So in terms of the themes that you use, I know every year you have a different theme, right? Can you tell us a little bit about what some of the themes have been and how they connect to all of those industry areas of education, science, and so forth?
Yeah, we used to do a lot of more direct thematic stuff and actually have a real theme. We've really evolved now where the themes kind of emerge on their own. We really don't start out with saying, okay, the theme this year is going to be this, or we're going to focus on this. We really focus, our theme every year we've decided is really deep innovation. And so what we really try to do is just find people, find ideas, events, other kinds of things that really focus on that one thing. And the themes kind of emerge from that. So we don't really set out with categories. We don't set out with a particular theme. It's kind of a blank canvas at the beginning of the year, and our vision is, okay, we want to create a really high energy event around creativity and innovation and connecting ideas, and it just kind of emerges from there.
Okay, interesting. And so do you have an interest at all? And obviously it's in Kentucky, which was exciting for me because I've never been here, and so it brought me here. do you have any interest in maybe having more than one idea festival and moving it to maybe another country even?
I think we would always have the big event here because it's a pretty big undertaking, and I think we like the fact that it's anchored here. We've explored and talked about doing mini festivals, maybe a day or a day and a half in other places. We've actually talked to a few people about that, and it's something, that I think we would be interested in if we could manage it. If we could, had the bandwidth and the financial resources to do it and do it in a quality way. I think it would be something that would be interesting. And I think one reason, the response from the people who come is so positive. They're so appreciative of having the opportunity, I think, to come together and learn what all these other people in the world in areas are thinking about, what the new ideas are, interacting with them, and really engaging in some really interesting conversation that it would be certainly worthwhile to us if we could manage it.
I think the other interesting thing that I noticed, and we were talking about this earlier, is the infusion of students and having them actually be part of that conversation, particularly when we had the CTO, right, for the White House here. I mean, just having their ideas and what they were thinking about. So tell us a little bit about, because that's one of the things that make that, and of course the great bourbon from Kentucky, are a couple of things that make Idea Festival very unique.
Yeah, bourbon plays a central role. We always have a lot of receptions, and bourbon's always a mainstay there. I think one of the values of the festival is that when we started it, and we've maintained it, I think, as best we can, is that we want it to be open source. In other words, we want it to be open and accessible to people from all walks of life, all different backgrounds, disciplines, ages, etc. Because we feel like, one, we want it to be that way. We want it to be inclusive. Two, ideas can emerge from anywhere, and we didn't want it to be one group of people. This is only for CEOs of companies, or this is only for teachers, or only for this group. And we wanted to create something that was, brought a lot of different people together. And so we worked very hard. We have great sponsors. We work very hard to get sponsors so we can keep the price point down and to allow lots of different people to come. We have scholarships for students, and our major sponsors: University of Kentucky, University of Louisville, Courier Journal, Kentucky Science Technology Corporation, all, as well as many other sponsors, help us do that. And I think, seeing a 10-year-old stand up and ask a really good question, and the next person who stands up is a 35-year-old astrophysicist asking a question, is really what the festival is about.
Yeah, and I think it's very inspiring if, we get some of that feedback and interaction on video, so that, a student in Africa can actually, see that that's empowering for them too.
Yeah, this first year, we partnered with Fora TV, and they're going to be making available a number of the content, much of the content of the festival available for this year as well.
I love those guys. They're right down the road from me.
Great.
So a little bit of tidbit, or can you give us a little sneak peek of 2012 for anybody who?
Well, we're working on it now. We've actually booked a couple of events already for 2012, so we're starting right now. I don't want to spoil the fun, but we've got some. We've already booked somebody from one of the most top 10 television programs, who's coming next year, who, among other talents, has a PhD in neuroscience. So I'll leave it with that.
There's a teaser.
Yeah, so we're excited about that. And so we do have a couple events that we've have already scheduled, and we're, it takes us literally 12 to 14 months to put together the event. So we're already have rolled up our sleeves, and we're starting in 2012.
Okay, very exciting. So thanks for your time, and I guess people can go to Idea Festival.
IdeaFestival.com. They can follow our blog there and all the latest information about the festival.
And of course, at Idea Festival on Twitter for the social media geeks who are in my world.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks so much, Kris.